Welcome, yogis. We're going to do a very short practice today that is designed to help us recover feelings of joy. Something, no matter where we are, no matter when we're doing this practice, it's something that we can always welcome into our lives. And let's go ahead and just jump right into it. If you have a blanket, you might find that useful. If you have a block, you might use that for some postures, but neither are necessarily required. And we'll start on our back. So when you're ready to, go ahead and lie down. And find yourself in bridge prep pose so that the soles of the feet are resting on the ground, knees bent. And if you reach down with your arms, your fingertips just barely graze the heels. That's usually about the right placement. And then for a moment, let your eyes close. Let your just anticipation settle. And feel as though you're starting to arrive in your practice, in your space. Setting an intention for yourself if you have one. That might be around letting go of something that is keeping you from feelings of joy. Or it might just be around welcoming in the experience of joy. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. And we'll move through dynamic bridge a few times with our inhale and kind of working to build, especially the inhale half of the breath. So this first time, just inhale, press into the feet, lift your hips up and stretch the arms up overhead onto the ground behind you. And see that the entirety of the soles of the feet are pressing down. And if the knees flared out, just kind of hug the inner thighs back in. And then you'll lower slowly back down, coming down one vertebrae at a time, arms down by your sides. And now focused on the breath. So inhale, lift up, hips up and arms up. And as you exhale, again, slowly lower, one vertebrae at a time until the pelvis comes back down. And now lengthen your inhale a little. So if it's comfortable, inhale, press up for 5 counts. So lift a little higher, fill your lungs a little more. And exhale again, and slowly lower. And then again, if it's comfortable, 6 count inhale. So a little longer in the breath, press up a little bit higher. And do that one more time. So inhale, lift up for 6 counts. Hold the hips up, and as you exhale, just draw the arms down along your sides. And then bend the elbows so your fingers point up. Rock a little onto the right arm so you can draw the left shoulder blade a little farther underneath you. And then rock onto the left arm, draw the right shoulder under. Again, press down into the entirety of the soles of the feet. Engage your glutes a little, press your hips up, and then feel your sternum lifting up slightly. You can close your eyes or keep them open with a soft gaze. But we're going to take a couple breaths here as you inhale again, as long an inhale as is comfortable. Hold the breath in for 1 count. Feel buoyant and light in the space of the heart. Exhaling, hold here. Again, inhaling completely fills the chest, a little more lift and buoyancy. And exhale and slowly release. Release the hands down, let the shoulders roll back out, come down one vertebrae at a time. Good, and then let the knees come in towards the chest. Take a hand on either shin and squeeze them in, exhaling all your breath out. As you inhale, send the legs up vertically, interlace the hands, extend the arms overhead, and flip the palms towards the wall behind you. And then exhale again, hands come back onto the knees. As the knees bend, squeeze them in. A couple times on the breath. Inhale, legs straight up to the sky. Flex your feet, reach the arms. And exhale, press your breath back out. And twice more. And if it's uncomfortable to have the hands clasped like that, you can always just keep the hands shoulder width distance apart. Okay, let's inhale. Extend the arms up, extend the legs up, hold here. With each exhale, start to flatten the low back into the ground. And with each inhale, see if you can lengthen through the two sides of your body a little bit more. Like the palms are trying to press the wall that is behind you away. And then take one more breath, inhaling slow, fully fill your chest. Feel, again, lightness, feel buoyancy surrounding the heart. And exhale and slowly release. Bring the soles of the feet back down. Bring the arms back to your sides. And then slowly make your way onto a side and press yourself up. Coming into all fours. And from all fours, when you're ready to inhale, lift the chin and gaze forward. Exhale, slide the toes under, make sure the belly is engaged and start to stretch back to down dog. And do that 3 more times, inhaling to come down to all fours, chin lifts. And exhale, belly draws back, stretch the hips long off the waist. Couple more times. And starting to refine your breath so that it's even and smooth and that it's linked with the movement in your body. And then we'll hold in this down dog. So take a couple breaths here. If you want to pedal out your legs a little bit, you can. We all have our own ways that we ease into this posture. But when you're ready to, heels descend down towards the ground, hips stretch again long off of the waist. Let's inhale and slowly sweep the right leg up to the sky. Stack your hips and bend that top knee. And as you draw that heel close, you're kind of squeezing it in towards your tailbone. Try to send your tailbone back towards the heel. And then inhale, extend the leg back out, level out your hips. And as you exhale, right foot comes forward, left heel drops down. Inhale, lift to warrior one. And then straighten your front leg as you press your arms to your sides. Okay. Again, if it's comfortable, hands will interlace for this. If not, you can just keep them shoulder width distance apart. As you inhale, you're going to bend your front knee, flip the palms away from you, and then press the hands up towards the ceiling, leaning back for warrior one. And as you exhale, again, back out of the pose, straighten your front leg, arms come back in, hands turn to the heart. Inhaling. Bend the knee, reach forward, lift up, lengthen the side body. And exhale, straight front leg, hands to the heart, heart lifts higher. Okay, 3 more times. And as you move through these last 2, see if you can lengthen your inhale a little bit more. Just breathing more like a feeling of liveliness, of vibrancy into your body. And it's such a small thing, but it helps just to bring like a tiny smile to your face. Good. Inhale 1 more time, bend the front knee, lift the arms. And then this time you're going to take the hands behind you. Interlace the hands now at the low back, straighten the arms back towards your left heel, and lift your chest. Lift your gaze slightly, so maybe up towards the top corner of whatever room you're in. And as you inhale, breathe fully into your chest and feel as though your breath brings a lightness there, like your heart is lifting and floating up a little bit more. As you exhale, any overworking or gripping, go ahead and relax that. 1 more full breath. Good. And then release the arms and open up for warrior two. So you can scoot your left foot back a little ways, turn. And then we're going to come straight into half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. If you have a block, you can place it out in front of your right foot. Begin to lean forward. Right fingertips will come down on the ground, step that back foot in, and then lift your left leg. Left shoulder stacks over the right. Begin to straighten your right leg if you can. Gaze to the ground for more stability. If you feel pretty stable here, you can start to turn your gaze towards the wall in front of you. Draw the shoulders back, get really long. Lengthening from the crown of the head to the sole of the foot, from fingertip to fingertip. And then very slowly release. Bend the right knees, the left foot lands, plant your hands and step back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and inhale, roll yourself forward to plank. As you exhale, let's come all the way down onto the ground. Untuck the toes. Inhale, everything lifts. Legs up, head up, chest up. Hold here for your exhale. Roll your shoulders farther back. Inhale, lift a little bit higher. And exhale, release down. This time, curl up for cobra. Inhale, press into the hands. Roll the shoulders back, heart forward, pause. Take a full breath. Feel the broadness across the front body. And as you exhale, squeeze your belly back. Pull the hips back through all fours. Press to downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, stack your hips, bend your knee. Again, find that spaciousness in the low back. Squeeze the heel in, send the tail back. And then big breath in, extend that leg back out. Exhale, step the foot forward. Initially finding warrior one. And then you'll straighten your front leg and press your arms down by your sides. Again, if it's comfortable, interlace the hands. On an inhale, bend your front knee. Flip the palms away from you. And then lean back. And as you exhale, back out of the pose. One more time, just finding the rhythm of that movement, the smoothness of the movement. And then 3 times, each time you move, see if you can breathe in a little bit more. Lengthen your inhale as long as it's comfortable for the body and doesn't cause any anxiety around the breath. So maybe a 5 count inhale. And then a 6. And inhale, bend your front knee, lift the arms one more time. And now take the hands behind you, maybe opposite grip, so opposite thumb goes on top. It'll be the one that's uncomfortable or not as familiar. Straighten the arms, roll the shoulders back, lift your chest. Gaze up slightly. And as you look to the top corner of the room, feel your heart lift in that direction. Right, each inhale, there's lightness around your heart. Each exhale releases any gripping, any tension, any fatigue in the body. Good, and then slowly start to release the hands and open yourself up for warrior two. And again, we'll come straight into Ardha Chandrasana. So if you want to use your block, just place it out in front of the left foot. Begin to lean forward. Scoot that back foot in as the left fingertips come down. Lift your right leg. Right arm can reach up. And the amount of steadiness you need is going to dictate where your gaze is. Look down if you need more. Turn to the side if you feel pretty stable. And then get big, get expansive. All that energy you've been drawing into your body, feel it moving from fingertip to fingertip, crown of the head to sole of the foot. Take one more breath. Good. And then slowly start to release. Bend your left knee, land the right foot, bring the hands down, and press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale all the way down to the ground. Untuck the toes. We're going to come through cobra pose kind of incrementally here. So hands down, head is lifted right now. And it's almost like you're leading with the shoulder blades. So you roll those back and down first. And then press into your hands and lift up just maybe halfway to cobra. And then exhale, release all the way down. Inhale, lift up a little bit higher. Exhale all the way down. A little bit higher, so kind of maybe 90% of your way. Exhale and release. Again, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift back to 90%, so you're not quite all the way there. And then on your next inhale, lift a little bit more. Exhale, hold here, squeeze the elbows in, squeeze the tops of the shoulders down. Take 2 more breaths. And with a super steady gaze, feel your breath expanding the space around your heart. See it fill. Exhale everything out. Last deep breath in. And release yourself all the way down. Press yourself through all fours and stretch back to downward facing dog. Send the tailbone back here. Feel the pelvis kind of gently being pulled towards the wall behind you. And then inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. As you exhale, step it forward, but bring it outside your right foot. Toes turn out. Left knee comes down. Take your left hand out to the side of the mat and turn your fingers to the left. Right hand on your right thigh. As you let your hips sink down, roll both shoulders back. So that if you looked at this left elbow, the eye of the elbow, kind of like that inner bend, would start to roll forward. Okay, so hips sink down. Inner elbow rolls forward so the shoulders can roll back and the chest lifts. And then look up slightly without letting the head roll too far back. As the pelvis sinks down, just imagine you're trying to lengthen the chest up away from your pelvis. You can either stay here or just reach that right arm back. So towards the back of the mat, and then that right shoulder rolls back slightly. And take a couple breaths. Recall that feeling of drawing the breath up into the chest to bring buoyancy and lightness there. Exhale out any tension you find. Just one more breath. And then very slowly start to release. Bring your right hand back in. Pull your hips back. Heel toe your right foot through center. And then just briefly, let's find pyramid pose. So you can lift your back knee, step that back foot in slightly. And forward fold. Use a block as you need to. And let your breath settle. Let your spine lengthen. And then bring the hands down and press back to downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, step it outside your left hand. Right fingers turn out as the right knee comes down. And initially, left hand on the left thigh. Let the hips sink. Again, roll that right shoulder back, and that inner elbow is rolling forward. And that's going to move the top of the right shoulder back. And then you're turning a little bit to the left, letting the hips sink, extending the tailbone back. Like the spine is being drawn long as you gently lift your gaze. You can stay there. You can reach the left arm back. Find a position that feels open to you, that feels bright. And invite your breath into that space. Just freeing any tension, any constriction, any tightness. Good. And then slowly start to release. Pull the hips back, heel toe that left foot in. Fingertips come down, step your back foot in slightly. And again, forward fold. And this can be done again with a block on the inside of the foot on any height that you need to keep some length in the spine. And bring the hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. Let's drop down onto the knees. Make your way onto your seat. As you come onto your seat, widen your legs so the right leg will extend out. Left knee pulls back. And you can sit up on a blanket here if you'd like to. But a pretty wide angle between the thigh bones. And then bring the right hand inside of the right leg. If you're more flexible, you can bring the elbow down. And then use that as leverage to turn the other way. So you're turning open to the left. As you inhale, reach your left arm up. So bicep comes in close to the side of the face. That's going to guide you over to the right. Keep rolling the left side of the chest back, so left shoulder rolls back. It's like your heart is trying to peek up towards the ceiling. Letting your left sit bone drop down. And feel that space along the left hip, left waist. Feel that being freed. Feel that being open with each inhale. And sigh out each exhale. Good. Lead with that top arm. So sweep it out and then imagine somebody's like grabbed your hand to help pull you back up. Yeah, spine comes up tall. And I always like to pause after one side there and just feel the difference between the two sides. The sensation, the feeling of length from one side to the other. And then we'll come to that second side, even ourselves out. So your left leg can extend out. You pull the right knee back. Hand or forearm down, just depending on where your body's at right now. And then turn to the right. Extend your right arm up, bicep in by the side of the face. And then that'll start to guide you off to the left. Keep the shoulders soft, keep the jaw relaxed, the back of the neck long. And feel the breath, it moves down that right side, kind of expanding and opening up space all along the hips, the waist, the ribs. You can exhale out of your mouth in a nice long sigh, especially if you feel any tension there, any constriction. And then sweep that top arm out and gently pull yourself back up. Good. Pause. Take a full breath in and feel all the space for your breath to move. It's this feeling of openness all across the heart, across the chest, the collarbones. And then go ahead and make your way just back down onto your back. Back into bridge prep pose, so soles of the feet to the ground. And then this time, right away, we're gonna kind of find, I call them robot arms, fingers pointing up, elbows pressed down. Prop yourself up a little bit. So you're puffing your chest up, draw the shoulder blades a little bit underneath you. Right, so the center of the back isn't quite on the ground. And then press into your feet from there, lift your hips up into bridge. You can either stay here for your few breaths, or you can go for that more traditional interlace of the hands underneath the low back. Maybe wiggle a little bit more of the upper arms underneath you. Okay. And then as you find your version of bridge, if you feel any pressure in the head, lift your chin about 1 centimeter. And then press into your feet, and with each inhale, feel as though the breath rises up from somewhere deep inside of your body. The breath rises and fills your chest with this big open energy. If it's comfortable at the top of your inhale, you'll hold your breath in and rest in that feeling of lift and openness. Exhaling out when you need to. Do that twice more. Big inhale. Fill the lungs, fill the space of the heart. Hold. Exhale it out. One more time. Keep the face soft. And then very slowly start to release. Let the shoulders roll out. Come down one vertebrae at a time. When the pelvis comes down, just pause. Let all that energy, let's take a moment to settle. Good. And then scoot your hips a little over to the right. We'll just briefly come into a twist. You can cross the right thigh over left if you like. You can place a blanket off on the left side. When you're ready to, let the knees drop off to the left. Let the arms be wide here. Let the right shoulder drop down and just let yourself spread across the collarbones. Good. To release from your twist, let the right leg come up first and then the left leg follows. And scoot the hips a couple inches in the other direction. Left thigh over right. Draw the knees in. And drop them off to that second side. And just a couple breaths. And then again, left leg leans, right leg comes back. As you release your twist, bring your hips back through center, hug the knees in for a moment, lift your head up. And squeeze everything in towards the center, give yourself a really big hug. And then extend out for Shavasana. Just briefly letting your body rest, letting yourself integrate that practice. It's new elevated emotions, elevated energy. And just for a moment, body soft and open. Let your mind rest in the feeling of sensation here. If you're able to stay here a little bit longer, just kind of soaking in the essence of that practice, please do. But if it's time to make your way back, let your breath deepen. Bend the knees, let yourself roll off to a side. And gradually come up to a comfortable seat. And let's just briefly sit tall here. Feel the chest lifted. Be noticing that you feel just a little lighter, a little more buoyant. And again, let just the smallest smile come across the face. And allow yourself to feel the sensation of joy that that brings. When you gather your hands together in front of your heart, bow in briefly, setting the intention to move from a place of joy back out into the world. Namaste. All right, yogis, thank you so much for joining. As always, I would love to hear how you enjoyed that practice. Go ahead and leave a comment for me below. It's also nice just to hear from you guys, to know that you were here. I'll see you next time. Be well, be joyful.